A little bit different from a person who believes that, there's a day of judgment and a hellfire and a paradise. The viewpoint, the whole way of looking at the world is going to be something a little bit different. That doesn't mean that human life is not important and sacred. It clearly is, But this all goes back to those fundamental things and those foundational ideas that we're talking about. I'm sorry, it would have been good to have someone who really knows about the Sharia. That's that's the limit of my knowledge. I don't know the details of the Islamic law. It would be very nice, I would love myself to hear someone who could talk about the Sharia in detail, to explain how about this and that, but it's not in my capability.
As somebody's trying to learn more about the relationship between Islam and the West,
right.
How much problems do you think lie in the fact that a lot of the people, they can't really walk a mile in the other person's shoes. They just can't get inside each other's heads, so they don't try. Do you think there's any problem stemming from that, perhaps?
Because I think, a lot of these things do come from misunderstandings, not knowing about each other, not being able to appreciate other people's points of view. Yeah, and that's true. There is that sort of problem. And that problem does exist. I think the thing is that, really, if you go and you meet Muslims, and you'll find they're not inherently hostile, aggressive people, and they're also not inherently judgmental people, as well. That's not something really inherent in Muslims. But what is the? On one hand, you could feel a bit optimistic that there is this coming together, that people are beginning to understand more about each other, and there's a very positive side, that's taking place in the world at the moment. And I think a lot of Muslims are beginning to think again about what is our attitude towards the rest of the world. Because there was certainly a whole time in Muslim history when it was like, there's us and there's them. There's the believers and there's the disbelievers, right? The people on the truth and the people on the falsehood, and they're oppressing mankind and we're liberating mankind. And certainly for a time that was really true, okay? But now the world seems to be a very different place, okay? Or it may, for one brief moment, have been like that. I've got a suspicion that, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know whether it's good or bad. Whatever God wills, I suppose. But it looks like everything has been pushed right back to the way it was. And I think some people want it to be like that. From both sides. Some people like it black and white. That's the way we want to keep it. There's the bad guys, we're the good guys, let's just keep it like that. None of this, let's get together and feel alright and talk to each other and stuff like that. Oof. No more wars, no more weapons, no more. So I don't know. It depends where it's, I feel the whole world is on some sort of brink at the moment. Certainly I was talking with a friend of mine, and I was saying to him, he's quite knowledgeable, and we were discussing exactly this sort of issue. I said, this definition that many of the scholars, the Muslim scholars, they talked about the world as Dar al-Islam and Dar al-Harb, which means the place of Islam and the place of war. Any place that wasn't a place of Islam was the place of war. I said, is that still true today? I said, well, Allahu Alam, we just don't, Allah knows. Can we really think of the world in that sort of sense anymore? Even scholars hundreds of years ago started thinking of a different type of category called Dar al-Imana, a place of trust, where Muslims live in that land underneath a type of trust. Okay? But, it's a very, very big subject, and it goes back to examining the whole nature of what is jihad, what is warfare in Islam. I think you might have had some talk about that already, right? And it goes back to thinking about all of that. And really a Muslim wants to do what is pleasing to God. That's what's important to us. Okay? But we know from the Quran, God does not love the aggressor. He doesn't love the transgressor. Yes, God says, fight the disbelievers, right? Fight them. Okay? But don't transgress the limits. Don't go over the bounds. Because God doesn't love the transgressors. God does not love the aggressors, it says as well. Islam is not supposed to be aggressive. Okay, so if we live in a world now where people are saying, okay, we want to hear about your religion, they actually say, come and tell us what Islam is about. And before, in the time of the Prophet, it was like, you're not coming anywhere near us. You come into our land, we fight you, we kill you. So the Muslims have a right to fight under those circumstances. But how about a world where people say, you come and we want to hear about your religion. You're free, we'll put you on, we'll even make some programs and put them on TV. I mean, are we saying, how do we deal with that? So we have to start thinking again. But if the world is going to stay like that, that's the real question. I don't really know if it's going to stay like that. It's like some people don't want it to be like that. They want it to be all black and white and, let's draw the line again. It's much easier that way. So Allahu A'lam. God knows best. We could talk about these things for a long, long, long time.
I think we can wrap up now. And I would like to give my highest appreciation and jazakallah to the brother and also the audience who come to this. So if you have, especially the non-Muslims, if you have any more questions or queries about Islam, then you are welcome to ask us and come around to the prayer room or wherever. A lot of us here, some brothers really obviously have knowledge. The prayer room is in 9 Princess Garden. It's near the nursery, so opposite the health center. It's there, and you can also email us at islam@ic.ac.uk or imperial.ac.uk. So, inshallah, I think to finish.